Hello and welcome everyone to this week's COT review. I'm Thomas from COTbase.com, and today we're going to look at the 37th report of this year. As usual, we're going to start off with the changes in commercials positions. Let's just have a look at that and see where we had the largest changes this week. We can see that we've got copper on top with the 41% change, a huge change. And if we're going to look at the 1 year chart, you can see that the change size is definitely larger than average. But also large speculators had a huge change in their positions also, actually moving from net short roughly 10,000 contracts up to plus 2,000. So that was a very significant change over there. Let's have a look at the 5 year chart and see how extreme the market is. Well, you can see that we've moved away from some extreme levels actually in all of the participants' positions. So that's not going to help us too much. But the change size was pretty decent and could affect prices in the near term. Let's move on to Canadian dollar, where we had a 27% change. But we can also see the all-time COT extreme in commercials and large speculators also. The change size is significant. I would say larger than average. Larger, actually the largest in the 1 year time scale if you look at the chart. Let's have a look at the 5 year chart, what that shows us. And we're going to try to search for similar pictures when commercials were so much net short or close to their all-time extreme levels. Well, the last one was over here and it could push prices lower. The one before was roughly over here, didn't really have an effect on prices, or the effect came a bit later. So it's an interesting market. The extreme is large, stress levels are building up. The question is, of course, when this would affect the prices, but it's definitely a market to have your eyes on. S&P 500, the next market that we're going to have a look at with a 20% change in commercials positions. You can see that large speculators again above zero line, meaning net long. Just opening the 5 year chart for a moment, and we're going to move on to the Mexican peso, where we had a 20% change again, similarly to S&P 500 in commercials positions. There we go. Let's wait for the chart. And here we go. So change size can be viewed over here. Let's have a look at the extreme. And yes, similar to Canadian dollar, we've got a close to all-time extreme over here. So an interesting market again, but I think the same applies to Mexican peso. We should be viewing this market carefully. The change size was large, so it definitely could mean a near-term effect on prices. Moving on to the COT extreme and large speculators, let's just have a look at that. Okay, we've got three markets actually with an all-time signal in large speculators positions. Platinum on top with the all-time. Actually, it was an all-time last week, but I think we have just received all-time in commercials. So we've already got two market participants from the three being in an all-time extreme territory. Of course, the rest of the metal markets are not at these levels yet. And you can see that the last two extremes occurred when small speculators were very optimistic about the market. So even though we have these all-time signals, be careful with the short if you were considering one. This can easily widen a bit more. Canadian dollar, we had to look at that chart. Let's look at the Nasdaq 100, where we have an all-time signal still. We had it for a few weeks now. Commercials, roughly 500 reports extreme, and small speculators also in an all-time extreme optimistic mood. So it's definitely a bearish signal and could push prices lower in a few weeks maybe. I think that's going to be all for this week. But if you would like to have a look at other charts, just have a look at them at COTbase.com. But if you would like to get a more detailed analysis, just come on our subscription service where you can find other COT report types, data types, and add great other functions like the long-term 10, volume and open interest analysis, and the COT index, if you wish. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.